We are joining you on this historic day. Connecticut has a new governor. Ned Lamont was officially sworn in as the state's 89th governor a little more than an hour ago. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kara Sundlin. Our new governor is now preparing to deliver his first official speech, the State of the State. He'll address the legislature and give the State of the State address right in the House chamber. Dennis House is anchoring our inaugural coverage, and we go live to him now. Dennis, what is the mood at the Capitol today?
Well, the mood, Carrie, is one of optimism. And right now, what you're seeing behind me is Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz, who is going through the motions. Of course, she worked here many, many years ago as a state representative and later as the Secretary of the State for 3 terms. She's been out of office since 2010, but sworn in this morning. And she just introduced a resolution to invite the governor to come in and deliver the State of the State address. So he is outside the chamber, and we expect him shortly. But right now, there was an introduction of the constitutional officers and some of the other people here and the majority leaders, and we expect him fairly soon. We don't know exactly when, but he's ready to go. The speech, we're told, will be about 15 to 20 minutes long. His inaugural address was lacked some of the specifics about what he wants to do in his first term as governor. We expect this speech to address some of the key topics that he's been talking about. And of course, we had a little bit of a preview, an exclusive preview this past Sunday on Face the State when the governor talked about legalizing marijuana, tolls for trucks. And I know that we've talked about tolls. It's a very controversial issue in our state. They've been gone since the late 1980s. There are some progressive liberal Democrats who want tolls for all vehicles in the state. Republicans largely are against tolls, but the governor says he's going to hold firm and only introduce a bill, tolls for trucks only, which is currently done right now in Rhode Island. He expects it to raise millions of dollars for the state. Also talking about raising the state's minimum wage. He likely will address that today. Family Medical Leave Act, and a few other issues as well. But the number one issue that he faces is the huge budget deficit. The governor says he needs to get that under control first, and then the state will grow out of that. So what you're seeing right now is it's a packed house, a lot of spectators here. Normally it's not that busy. I don't know, Chris, if you can show a little bit of what's going on here. Normally just the seats are taken by lawmakers, but today we have visitors. We've got dignitaries. We even have a baby here, I'm told. Caroline Simmons and Art Linares have their baby with them, state representative. And former State Senator Art Linares have a child, Teddy, who's here. And so the buzz right now is they're just awaiting the governor to enter. There you see on the back side of the dais, you see the new constitutional officers and the people they've replaced. George Jepson, the outgoing Attorney General, with the new one. All right, Governor Lamont, we're told, is in the House. So let's see. That's what I'm told, that he is approaching, and there he is. That is our 89th governor, Ned Lamont. Let's listen in. He beat Joe Liebman in the primary, and then ran for governor again in 2010, losing to Dan Malloy. He came back this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is
the Democratic field.
Privilege to call us back into the joint. And we now no longer need the committee. The committee has discharged its duties appropriately, and it is now an incredible honor and pleasure to introduce my partner in government, a dear friend, our Governor, Ned Lamont.
We keep this bipartisan goodwill going, we're going to get a lot done. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Senator Fasano, Representative Claridis, My fellow state officials, members of the General Assembly and the judicial branch, Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz, honored guests, and people of the great state of Connecticut. Thank you for welcoming me to the room where it happens. I'm especially proud to be here with my family, Annie, Emily, Lindsay, Teddy. Sometimes it gets pretty feisty at the Lamont dinner table, but we're all in it together, and we're not shy. And at the end of the day, I feel the same way about the people of the great state of Connecticut. And you're my extended family, and we're all in it together. I want to say to Dan Malloy, many thanks for your decades of public service. And to Nancy Wyman, you're not going far. We're going to keep you pretty busy. And where's George Jepson? I thought you were down here somewhere. Yeah. George, you're just across the street from me now. You could run, but you can't hide. We got, because we are just getting started. A few weeks ago, as you heard, Susan and I joined a couple of thousand high school students at the Bushnell for a performance of Hamilton. Before the curtain went up, we discussed with the students the meaning of my favorite song, My Shot, sung by young Alexander Hamilton, an immigrant teenager from the Caribbean, young, scrappy, and hungry, like the nation he is joining. And he's not going to throw away his shot. And what I love about America is that every generation we get a chance to reinvent ourselves. And every election gives us a fresh start. And this is our chance to reinvent Connecticut, to think big and act boldly. And Connecticut has always been the state where it happens. We are an inventive state. We shaped the defense industry with the invention of the world's first submarine in Old Saybrook. No! I thought you knew your history. Then we reinvented it with the first nuclear submarine in... Now you got it. We revolutionized multiple industries through the invention of rubber that could withstand cold and heat. We did that in... There you go. We redefined the workplace with the invention of the portable typewriter in Stamford. You guys you're reading the teleprompter. That doesn't impress anybody. And the world's first helicopter was designed and piloted by Igor Sikorsky in... That's it. And a century later, Sikorsky's factory is still there. An electric boat remains the largest submarine manufacturer in the world. And they are two of Connecticut's largest employers. A proud piece of Connecticut's history. But over the last generation, Connecticut's entrepreneurial zip has slipped a bit. We're no longer a place that is viewed as hospitable or encouraging the new businesses. Connecticut, it's time to return to our inventive and entrepreneurial roots. Our future lies in doubling down on what makes us great and reimagining our unique potential. And it starts with the best educated workforce in the world. Look, I always go visit our schools because that's where I get a look at the future. My first stop is often in Bridgeport at Harding High School, where I helped out many years ago as a volunteer, and whose band just helped lead our parade up here to the state capitol. Their old high school was pretty beat. But you should have seen the excitement in the eyes of those kids and their parents and their teachers just a few months ago on opening day at the new Harding High School. You know, the custodians told me something I remember, that the old Harding was a mess at the end of the day, but the new Harding was still pretty neat at day's end. And that just reminded me that showing the students that we believe in them, they showed pride in themselves and their school, and a lot of you helped make that happen. Remember, you make a difference. And it's the same optimism and pride that I saw at the New Career Academy in Waterbury, where nearly 98% of the students graduate. And many of those students go on to great colleges. Many go on to apprenticeships in healthcare and advanced manufacturing. These are the Connecticut jobs for Connecticut students. I saw a lot of that same optimism as a professor for many years at Central Connecticut State University. Somebody was from CCSU. But my favorite day during the campaign, because it was after one of those interminable debates, was at UConn, where we saw the Black Hawk helicopters flying low overhead. And I joined all the students. We ran to check out the action, and we saw the choppers landing at the UConn School of Engineering. It was a Sikorsky job recruitment drive, encouraging Connecticut students to start their careers right here in this state. Anybody recruit you that way? It didn't happen to me. But none of this would be possible without the dedication of Connecticut's teachers. We have the greatest teachers in the world. Sometimes we ought to tell them that. Thank you for what you do, teachers. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. That's it. Because, you know, Connecticut, we don't have silicon, we don't have natural gas, but we've always had the best trained, the most educated, the most productive, the most entrepreneurial workforce in the world. That is our strategic advantage, and it's more important in the 21st century than ever before. You know that companies roam the globe looking for talent. Look no further. You can stop right here. And so at this point, you're probably thinking, that's all well and good, Gov, but the budget is a mess. And how can we be a laboratory for democracy when we have such a hard time paying our bills? We cannot afford to let the next 4 years be defined by a fiscal crisis. The fate of our great state is on a knife's edge. If we choose inaction and more of the same, we fail. But if we choose to be creative and bold, leadership, a commitment to make the hard and difficult choices necessary to right the wrongs of the past, we will succeed. Let's fix the damn budget once and for all. You with me? Thank you. That's it. I'm putting the pressure on you. So here's the deal. In 6 weeks, I present you with a budget which is in balance. Know what to expect. And together we will deliver on what we say, a budget on time, honestly balanced. And however, I want to be clear, no more funny math, no more budgetary gamesmanship. And I come from the world of small business, where at the end of the month, the numbers have to add up, or the lights can go out. And don't tell me you hear from some consultant there's $1 billion at easy spending cuts. I'll say, show me the money, or I show you the door. And unlike in Washington, D.C., our government doesn't shut down, and we don't play those games here, right? We can't tell students that school is closed today. Police and fire departments can't say, we'll respond to that call another time. We can't tell the most vulnerable that their services that they depend upon, maybe they'll reopen later in the year. We don't do that. We don't do that. And I refuse to invest any time in the blame game. Who's responsible for this crisis? Who's to blame? Who cares? It's real, it's here, and it's time to confront it head on. And one last thing, please don't tell me you've done your share and now it's somebody else's turn. It's all of our turns. Fix the budget, invest in the future, and nothing can stop us. All right, how do you do it? Fixing the budget does require a big table and an open door, and I'm ready to listen to any good idea. I'll take the heat, and I'll share the credit. And I know the budget vote's going to be a tough one, no doubt. It'll be easy to vote no, but I have a responsibility to get us to yes. And we only get there by working together. Okay, business leaders, some of you have already stepped up and are ready to take the lead when it comes to workforce development and positioning Connecticut students for these Connecticut jobs, and I thank you, but there's more to do. And I thank my Business Advisory Council, some of whom are here, which is already reaching out to new companies, which may be a great fit for the state of Connecticut. Thank you. And I say to the volunteers out there and the philanthropic leaders, giving back is the highest form of citizenship. Ask what you can do for your state. I'm excited by your willingness to invest in our future, and I am looking forward to great things ahead. More on that to come. Thank you. To our state employees and our labor leaders, first of all, thank you for the incredible work you do on behalf of the people of the great state of Connecticut. People don't thank you enough for what you do. And I'm a strong believer in labor and the right to organize and collective bargaining. So is Julie. But now is our time to show that collective bargaining works in tough times as well as good times. And it's my job, as liabilities grow faster than assets, to make the changes necessary to ensure that retirement security is a reality for our younger as well as our older state employees, and we got to do that without breaking the bank. And mayors and first selectmen, nothing will compromise your feisty independence. I heard that. But so many services and back office functions can be delivered at a much lower cost and much more efficiently if they're operated on a shared or regional basis. We need We will break down those silos, engage in bulk purchasing, everything from health care to technology. The taxpayers of our state can no longer afford to subsidize inefficiency. So Connecticut is a land of steady habits, and we will return to the habits which made us such a great economic powerhouse a generation ago. But we also need to change the game and create new habits that capitalize on our strengths. Our great state is strategically located between two super cities. And we need to harness our highly educated workforce and create a new Connecticut for tomorrow. And how do we do this? I'll be focusing on 4 priorities. First, I'm going to take the lead investing in the first all-digital government. A reverse engineer every transaction from the taxpayer's shoes. The entry point to e-Connecticut will be through a digital front door, a one-stop shop for everything our citizen needs. We will be online, not in the line. It won't be done overnight, so let's start today. And secondly, to attract those millennials and top talent and leading companies, Connecticut will have to invest wisely in our urban centers, making them affordable and lively, where families want to live, work, and play. And that means great schools, safe streets, and making our cities the first 5G in New England. The telecommunications companies are ready to start building. Let's harness that excitement. And by the way, let's get Wi-Fi access to all of our local town squares. That's something we can do. Third, none of this is possible unless we have a 21st century transportation system. When the Merritt Parkway opened in 1940, it wasn't uncommon for people to pull over to the side of the road and picnic. It was so beautiful. Well, I've spent a lot of time on these roads, and so have you. And when we pull over, it's because we're so damn frustrated by gridlock. That bumper-to-bumper traffic, let me tell you, gridlock not only causes headaches, it costs us jobs, and we're not going to let that happen. You know what we do? I believe in the 30-30-30. I want the following to be a reality. 30 minutes from Hartford to New Haven, 30 minutes from New Haven to Stamford, and 30 minutes from Stamford to New York. That's right. Don't worry, Neil, we're going to have spurs from Waterbury and New London as well. This is going to be interconnected. And this isn't a pipe dream. This is a necessity, a modern infrastructure by road, rail, air, and water to unlock the full economic potential of our state. Fourth, Connecticut's economic revival cannot be only about creating opportunities for some of our people. It's going to be an economy that works for everyone. We will bring our workforce into the 21st century, closely aligning it with job training, starting with STEM and coding in K through 12, access to higher education, VOTEC and apprenticeships, good paying jobs for our Connecticut students. That also means bringing not just the workforce into the 21st century, but we're bringing the workplace into the 21st century. And that starts with making paid family leave a reality for all of our parents. All of our parents. For all of our parents, they don't have to choose between the child they love and the job they need. And the 21st century workplace also means moving to a $15 minimum wage. We will. We're going to do it responsibly. We're going to do it over time, but so that those same parents can afford to be able to provide for their children and still have a little time left over to actually see their children. We're going to get that done. Okay. One of the first governors that comes from the world of business. I think I know how to get this done. I'm going to be creation, and my primary objective is to get this economy moving again. And how do we extend opportunity for all those being left behind? Growth. What's the long-term fix to our budget? Growth. How do we attract the next generation of talent to Connecticut? Growth. Now, somebody like that. Now, all that economic growth takes time to nurture, which is why, again, we start today, and we start together. All right, I'm a new governor. You're a new legislature. Some of you have been around for a while. It's a new day here. And what can you expect from me? I think I'm a straight shooter. I think I'm an honest broker. I think I'm a pretty good listener. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. But I do have a strong sense of where we need to go and what the people of Connecticut expect from us. And last November, thousands of people waited forever, sometimes hours, in the pouring rain. You know, Google told me that the #1 search was, how do I vote? And they waited in those long lines and voted with extraordinary turnout because they know that their vote makes a difference. They believe that they can make a difference, and we will make a difference, and we're going to do that together. So let's work together and produce a budget for the people that doesn't borrow from the future but invests in the future. And like those kids from Harding High who believed in themselves, I believe in Connecticut, and you're here because you believe in Connecticut. Let's get Connecticut growing again. History has its eyes on you. All of us, let's do this together. May God bless you, and may God bless the hardworking people of the great state of Connecticut. Love you all. Thank you.
And that is Governor Lamont's very first State of the State address, delivered just